Welcome. In this first outcome, we're building your research skills with ICT so you can find, judge, and reference good academic sources with real confidence. Higher education asks you to track down information for yourself, rather than just repeating what a tutor tells you. That's where ICT really earns its keep, giving you fast access to millions of academic sources through digital libraries and online journals. Picture a student at midnight who needs 3 solid references for a Monday deadline and finds them in 20 minutes from the sofa. The good news is that research is a skill you learn and sharpen, not a talent you're simply born with. So what actually counts as a proper academic source? Broadly, it's material produced or checked by experts, like a peer-reviewed journal article, an academic e-book from an established publisher, or official statistics from bodies such as the ONS or gov.uk. A random blog post or an anonymous social media comment usually doesn't make the cut. For example, an NHS report on stress is citable, but a stranger's opinion thread about it is not. Let's get a few terms straight so the rest makes sense. A digital library is an online collection of books and journals, like your college library catalogue, while an academic database is a searchable index of scholarly articles, such as JSTOR or EBSCO. An e-journal is simply an academic journal published online, and a repository is where an institution stores its own research, often free to access. You'll bump into all 4 the moment you start searching. Here's how those sources line up in practice. Academic databases like JSTOR or ProQuest give you peer-reviewed articles. Google Scholar is a handy search tool for scholarly work and citations. And for reliable data, you'd turn to official statistics from the ONS or the Bank of England. If you were researching UK unemployment, for instance, you'd reach for ONS figures rather than a newspaper headline. Reference works such as Britannica are fine for getting your bearings, but they're a starting point, not your main evidence. Good research isn't one lucky search, it's a process with clear stages. You move from finding sources to judging them, to using and citing them properly, and following the same routine every time makes you quicker and more reliable. Think of it as a 5-step loop you run for each assignment. For this first criterion, you'll need to select at least 3 recognized electronic academic sources. The trick to searching well is to start from your assignment question and pull out the key concepts. Then use Boolean operators to steer your results, and narrows things down, like teamwork and motivation, or widens them, like college or university. And quotation marks lock an exact phrase, such as the digital divide. Finally, use the database filters to limit results to peer-reviewed articles from recent years. It's the difference between wading through 10,000 hits and landing on 40 relevant ones. Let's make that concrete. Say you're researching how social media affects students' study habits, so your concepts are social media, students, and study habits. You might build a search string that combines social media and student with study habits or revision, then apply filters for peer-reviewed only, published 2019 to 2026 in English. That single, well-built search takes you from 40 articles down to 3 strong ones, 2 journal papers and a JISC report, which is exactly what this criterion asks for. Not everything online deserves your trust, so it pays to evaluate before you use it. A quick way to do that is the CRAP test, which checks currency, relevance, authority, accuracy, and purpose. If a source falls down badly on authority or accuracy, say an unsigned health website with no evidence behind it, it shouldn't be used as proof. Run this quick check on every source and you'll rarely be caught out. It helps to picture 2 piles. On the reliable side, you've got a named, qualified author or a recognized organization, work reviewed by academics, evidence and references provided, and something recent and on topic. On the less reliable side, there's no named author, a clear aim to sell or provoke, no sources given, and information that's out of date or plainly biased. A government statistics page sits firmly in the first pile. An anonymous forum rant sits in the second. Once you've got a good source, you need to do two things with it. Extracting means pulling out the specific idea, figure, or argument you actually need, and contextualizing means explaining what it shows and how it supports your point. Don't just drop a quote in and move on. Tell the reader why it matters, and wherever you can, paraphrase in your own words rather than quoting at length. And always jot down where each idea came from, so referencing later is painless. There's a neat 5-step path from someone else's writing to your own argument. You read actively to find the key point, note it in your own words with the author, year and page, then synthesize, combining ideas from several sources. After that, you contextualize, spelling out what the evidence shows, and finally you cite it so the source is credited. Do this and your work reads as your own thinking, backed by evidence, rather than a string of quotes. Here's how that looks with a real figure. Imagine a JISC report finds that 52% of students feel their digital skills aren't well supported. You'd extract the key point that just over half of students want better digital skills help and paraphrase it as JISC 2023 found more than half of students feel under-supported. Then you contextualize. This suggests colleges should build ICT skills into the curriculum, which backs your argument that induction should include research training. Notice the statistic is doing a job, not just sitting there. Referencing might feel like a chore, but it does real work for you. It credits the original author and keeps you clear of plagiarism. It lets a reader find and check your sources, and it shows off the range and quality of your evidence. Here at UK Versity, we use the Harvard system, which pairs a short in-text citation with a full reference list. Get into the habit early and it becomes second nature. Harvard has 3 parts worth knowing. The in-text citation is a short note in the flow of your writing, like Cottrell, 2019, page 44, while the reference list is the full alphabetical list of everything you cited at the end. A bibliography is everything you read, whether you cited it or not, and you only include it if you're asked. The standard UK guide for all this is Cite Them Right by Peers and Shields. Different source types have slightly different recipes, but the pattern is consistent. An ebook gives author, year, title, edition, place and publisher, then the web address and the date you accessed it, while a journal article adds the article title, journal, volume and pages, plus a DOI or URL. Websites and online reports follow the same logic, and even an AI tool has its own format. The reassuring part is that once you've done a couple, the rhythm of author, year, title, and where to find it becomes familiar. AI tools need referencing too, and this catches a lot of people out. Say you use ChatGPT to brainstorm an essay plan. First, check your organization's policy, because UK Versity requires you to declare AI use. And in text, you'd simply write OpenAI 2026. Your reference list entry would read OpenAI 2026 ChatGPT GPT-5, a large language model, then the web address and access date. Remember, the AI output is a starting point to acknowledge, not evidence, and you still write the essay yourself. This criterion asks for something a step beyond referencing. It wants you to justify why you picked each source. So you'd explain that a source is appropriate because it's by a recognized author, peer-reviewed, recent and relevant. For example, I chose the ONS data because it's official, current and directly on topic. It's just as useful to show what you rejected, like an unverified blog, and why. That proves you can judge quality, not just find things. A little discipline here saves hours later. Record a source's full details the moment you use it, and keep track digitally with a reference manager or a simple table. The usual slip-ups are missing access dates, an in-text citation with no matching entry, inconsistent formatting, or citing the search engine instead of the actual source. Pick Harvard, follow Cite Them Right, and apply it the same way from start to finish. Let's pull the threads together. ICT gives you independent access to recognized academic sources, and searching well with keywords, Boolean operators and filters gets you at least 3 strong ones. You then evaluate every source with the CRARP test and put its content into your own words before referencing everything in Harvard style, AI tools included, and justifying your choices. Do all that and your research is credible, well-evidenced, and properly credited. That brings the first outcome to a close. You can now find recognized electronic sources, judge them, use them in your own words, and reference and justify them the Harvard way. To go further, the further reading pulls together some genuinely useful guides, from Cite Them Right for the mechanics of referencing to Cottrell's Study Skills Handbook and the JAI-esque materials on digital capability. The unit's Moodle also holds ebooks and journals to practice on, so do have a browse. These research habits will carry into every other unit you study.